Yep. 2 Corinthians 10, 3 through 5. Good morning, Pawleys Island. Today is September 10th, 2020, and it is time for your Pawleys Island sunrise and surf report with David Clayton. And this morning we have a special guest, Happy Chappy. David Chapman is here with us all the way from Oklahoma, a Sooner at heart. And so we're going to enjoy getting to watch him do some art on the beach and hearing about how he kind of has fallen in love with Pawleys Island over the last 20 years. Is that right, Dave? 10 years. So we're real excited about that. Facebook, go find our people. So how'd you get the name Happy Chappy?
I'm happy all the time. I'm always smiling. I'm the guy smiling. I'm the guy trying to make everybody else happy all the time.
That's great. Well, you went with the flow with me last night when I just messaged you spontaneously and said, hey, can you be on here in the morning? And you said sure. So I'm excited about this. So 10 years ago, you heard about Pawleys Island because someone you work with. Did I understand that right?
Yeah, one of my vendors out of Georgia. He lived right north of Atlanta, but he grew up. His grandmother had a place on Pawleys Island, and he said, you'll love it, you'll love it, you'll love it. We had been following OU football from Oregon, UCLA, at the Rose Bowl, all the way around to Miami, Sugar Bowl at New Orleans, different places. And then finally decided we loved the beach more than we loved OU football. And we said we can watch that on TV, but we got to find new beaches.
Okay.
So here we are.
I love it. Do you stay at the same place every year?
No, first year. This is first year for where we're staying. We stayed at Hiller Villa this year, and just absolutely love it. Very, very quaint, nice place.
So that's the south end,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
And you say you don't really come up this way towards the north end that much.
First time ever here.
Wow.
First time ever.
So you can see we have this pier this way.
Yeah, never even been to the pier.
This morning is a foggy morning, let me tell you. But it's about 75, it's between 75 and 76 degrees in the air right now. And the water temperature is 83, which is wonderful. Tell me that's not a happy dog right there.
That's a happy dog.
Do you have any dogs?
I do.
What do you have?
Way more than I should, but I've got one Labradoodle. My Labradoodle is Molly. I've got an Australian Shepherd, that's Dolly, and a couple of pups, Henry and Squeakers.
Now, did you stay somewhere where you could bring your dogs with you?
No.
No. So you left them at home?
Yeah.
For 2 weeks?
Yeah, my aunt is house watching. So
okay.
She's house sitting. She's staying at my house watching the critters. And
where in Oklahoma is this? Where your home is?
I live an hour straight south of Oklahoma City, which is about 2 miles straight, 2 hours straight north of Dallas.
That's great. So you've been married for 40-something years, you said. 42, did you
42.
say? 42 years.
This year's, well, I guess it's 43. Got married in 77. Yeah.
That's great. So what's the secret to happy marriage?
Woo! Compromise. Tenacity.
I love it. I love it, man.
Oh, have a beautiful woman that puts up with me. That's probably the biggest thing.
That's great.
That's the biggest thing.
And then you also mentioned that you have faith in the Lord. And that's really got to be important when you know that you're loved and that you don't deserve it. So when someone you love doesn't deserve it, you can easily give it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I literally try to keep everything I can biblical. Try to look at it like What would Jesus do? Yeah.
There you go.
What a gorgeous morning. Another happy dog.
So the reason I found you initially was because I saw some really cool sand art. And I want to take a look at this because this is kind of your tools, right?
Some of them, yeah. I didn't bring them all.
This right here is David Chapman, all the way from Oklahoma. You come for 2 weeks, right?
I do.
Yep. And so you do this on the beach. So what's your favorite sand art thing you do?
I'm going to say the rhinoceros this year was about the most fun thing I did.
That's cool. What are you going to do for us this morning?
Well, I never know what turns out. I never know what turns out. Sometimes I start out with one thing, and the sand doesn't want to be what I start out to be.
I love that, man.
So, if it works out, I'm going to try to do a Gilbert because I love doing. I love reading the paper every morning, and I always read the comics and anything that pertains to situations of life that I'm going through or the office is going through. I'll send those cartoons out to different people who work with me. And Gilbert is so funny because there's so many situations where it's real.
I love it. That is great.
One of my guys one of the guys in Ohio that's our marketing guy, Matt Bruggerman, had asked me to yesterday or the day before. He's like, "Man, why don't you make a big Gilbert?" And we might try to do that today.
I love it. That's a great idea. So we have lots of Clemson fans in here. I just wanted to share that with you.
Hey, you got one of our defensive coordinators, so I can't see why you couldn't be really, really good.
There you go. There you go. That is true. Oh, that's funny. All right. So if you're just turning in, this is David Chapman. He's our guest today, and he has a real job. He's a regional manager. Tell people a little bit of what you do as far as that side of things. I know you're on vacation. You don't like to talk about work too much, but talk shop just for a second because I think it's really cool. One of my passions is discovering that people that have real jobs like I do, like I sell cars, actually it's okay to have a creative side and to do things that are I like to spontaneously go up to people and say, "Hey, what's going on? Tell me about you." And that's kind of a creative thing that I like to do. I also like to play music, but this thing that you're doing with the art, it's actually, you're really gifted with it. You're really good. Have you ever won anything with that at all?
No, other than lots of smiles.
Yeah.
People, I come out the other night or the other morning, and one of our neighbors, a couple of houses down, actually the next house over, had their grandkids. The guy, Frank Robinson, was there, and his daughter and son-in-law and two granddaughters was there, and I'd made a hippopotamus. And this hippopotamus was just massive. It's just huge. I move a lot of sand, and I went out, and it almost made me cry. I was smiling so much. But their little girls had made a baby hippo off to the side for my baby hippo, for my big hippo.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Come see our baby hippo."
I love it, man. That is great. That is great.
That's cool stuff.
That is cool stuff. So you love, I noticed you love children. How many children do you have?
I've got two.
Okay.
I've got a son and a daughter. My daughter's 42. My son is 38. And then I have two grandsons, or two grandkids, a granddaughter and a grandson. Granddaughter will be 15 in November, and grandson's 13. And my daughter's not married, but my son is married to just the best daughter-in-law a man could ever have.
That's great. Well, we're going to let you get started here. We're going to kind of watch you while you do some things here. And then we're also going to have our game. We have a Pawleys Island Peeps game. Did you have time to look at that at all, David?
No?
Oh, you just start doing your thing with the sand. Yeah. You just do your thing with the sand.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fill them in on this. So we have our game time right now where we actually are giving away a weekend away at the River House. So you have to have a boat to get there. If you don't, we're gonna take you, and you're gonna spend a weekend away on us, and we're excited about that. Today's game is along the same theme, which is name that shell. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to zoom in somewhere on the beach on a shell, and we're gonna watch David get started here. One of the things we talked about, Sandra would like to know, and it's very important to all of us here at the beach, is what does David do with these creatures when he's done making them and these things, and that is he flattens the sand so turtles are not affected at night. So you can rest easy, everybody, that he makes sure he does that. But back to the game, here we go. Hopefully you've already shared and liked this video, because that's the first thing you have to do in order to win. So you are going to, in about 10 seconds here, sunrise happens on this foggy morning. Sunrise is gonna happen at 6:56. And that is where we tune in. We're gonna zoom in on a shell, one of these shells. And when we do, your challenge is to name that shell. What time do you have?
2 minutes till.
2 minutes till, okay, so it's time. Here we go. Name that shell. Bum, bum, bum.